and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. With the start of October and the artist holiday known as Inktober, I decided that my first video was going to focus on several ink pens that I usually carry around with me and that I'll be using primarily during my Inktober sketches. While I own many different types of art tools and an abundance of pens, these 6, for whatever reason, stand out to me and I always keep them in my bag. You will notice that all of the pens that I'm reviewing today are imports from Japan. They come from jetpens.com. So let's start reviewing them one by one. This particular brush is by Zebra. It is called the Zebra Disposable Brush Pen Super Fine. It is by far one of my favorite tools to carry around in my bag. And this is a fairly recent addition to my kit. One of the things that I really enjoy about this is the tip of it. It's very firm and it allows for some really nice control. I don't have to worry about it bending, and I can get some really nice fine line work out of it. But it has a lot of variety to it as well. As you can see, you can get a nice medium stroke here, which I use quite often. And then you can turn it and just get a really nice fine line. But then if you turn it on its side, you can come back to a much thicker line. So it's got a lot of versatility to it. And while you can get some varying line weight in this pen, it's not always the greatest, maybe not the go-to pen if that's something that you're really interested in. But of course you can always go back over your line work and just try to lay it in a little bit thicker. But again, I just really love this brush pen. Up next is the Pentel Sign Brush Pen. It's not super well labeled. You can basically just make out the side of it right there. The only way to really tell it apart from other pens is the gray cap on the end there and the distinctive shape of the cap. I picked this up one day and I kind of liked it for what it was good for. As you can see, it has a felt tip. It's a very firm end, so it's not going to give you a lot of versatility, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. As you come in just trying to get a medium quality line, you can see, it's fairly thick. Now when you try to go in and get a thinner line by using just the tip, it's basically the same. There's not a lot of variety. However, if you do turn it on your side, rather than with other pens where you get a much thicker line, you can get a thinner line. This pen is really good at what it does well, which is a thick, consistent line, but as you can see, there's really no opportunity for line weight and versatility. What I generally use this pen for is once I've tied down a drawing and I want to make it pop off the page a little bit more, I can get a really consistent line outside of the drawing, and that's what I mostly use this for, and I just love it. So this is one of several Pilot pocket brush pens that I have. This one is called the Hard Brush. It is, again, really great at what it does. And as you can see, it is another Japanese pen. The casing is blue, it's a little hard to tell. Another thing to note is that the tip of it has a little bit of a plastic casing, and then the actual brush portion of it itself comes out from that. So it's really sturdy. You can get a really nice line, medium line quality right there, as you can see. But one of my favorite parts of this brush is the fact that you can get a pretty nice thin quality from it as well. And then again, if you turn it on its side, you can get a really nice thick line, which is great for filling in large areas of black. Because it's a firmer brush, you can get a really nice variety in line weight, and it's easy to control. So again, it's one of my go-to brushes, and I'll be using it heavily this Inktober. If I ever have to go somewhere and pack really light and I can only bring a handful of brush pens, this is going to be one of them, as well as the sister pen, which I'm going to be demonstrating here in just a moment. You can see that the difference mostly is in the body color. The Hard Brush Pen is the blue, and then the other one is the black. Part of the reason I like these two so much is 1, they've lasted me a very long time, and 2, they do not bleed all over the place like other brush pens have a tendency to do. And now we have the second of the 2 Pilot pocket brush pens that I own. And this is actually the first ever pocket brush pen I ever bought. As you can see, it's really easy to tell it apart from a lot of the other brush pens. It's got that little red character on the side, and unlike the other pen that I've already shown, it has a black casing. When you open it up, you're going to see that it has a felt tip, and unlike the other brush, it does not actually have one of those plastic casings, which makes it more of a true brush pen. Part of the reason I like this one so much is I use it often, and the tip of it never frays like a bunch of the other brush pens that I own, which means that I always get a really nice crisp line with it. And here I'm going to demonstrate to you the different line qualities you can get from the medium to small to wide. While I love this brush for many reasons, one of the things that it's not super good at is when you try to do a lot of swirling, curving lines. The felt tip itself tends to stick to the paper when you try to take it from a swooping motion down to a swooping motion up, and it can end up adding a little bit of undesired texture to your line. This again is the Pilot Pocket Brush Pen Soft. And another reason I love this pen so much is, unlike other brush pens, I've never had a problem where it actually exploded and started to bleed out, so I hardly ever have to worry about getting ink all over my hands when using this brush pen. And at only $5, it's a really great value. Up next is a pen I only discovered a week ago. It is called the Xeno Calligraphy Brush Pen, and I believe the one that I currently have is the medium. It looks like a regular ink pen, and it has a really nice weight to it, but again, it is a brush tip. As you can see, like several of the other brushes, the nib is actually encased in a plastic tip, and then the brush itself just sticks out from the top. This gives it a lot of firmness, and thus more control. It has a very nice medium line quality to it, but what I really love about it is just how fine you can get your brush. See? Nice, scratchy, and it, again, because it is such a firm brush, you have a lot of control. And then again, if you turn it on your side, you got a really nice thick line. This has become an instant favorite for me because I just love the amount of control I have when using this brush and the amount of variety I can get in my line control and weight. I don't have to sit there thinking about it too much, and again, this is one of the reasons I really, really love it. However, one thing to note, at this time, this is the only brush pen that I'm showing today that cannot be bought off of jetpens.com. Up next is another recent favorite, the Zebra Disposable Brush Pen Fine. I love this pen so much, I currently have 5 in my bag. I never want to be without one. Like several of the other pens I'm showing today, this is another fine, firm brush. If you open it up, you can see that the tip of it, again, has a little gray tip, which adds firmness to the actual brush itself. And what I really love about brushes that have this is it just feels like I have so much more control. As you can see, I can get a really nice medium quality, and then I can just, a little lighter on the hand and have a nice fine brush line. And then again, turning it on the side, and you have a nice thick line, which is really phenomenal. I just love it. Another reason I love this pen is I just don't have to work that hard when it comes to getting line weight. As you can see, I can go from a thin line to a thick line and then back again. And then if I wanted to be a little bit more deliberate with my fine lines, I can get a really nice hairline quality. And all things considered, this is just such an amazing brush, and it's super inexpensive too. I believe they only cost $2.50 last time I checked, which is part of the reason I always stock up in bulk and I just carry them around with me everywhere. You will definitely see me using this one a lot this Inktober. Thanks again for watching my first ever YouTube video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and a comment below, and feel free to subscribe. In future, I'll be producing more art tutorial videos, product reviews, and time-lapse videos of me working. If you have any ideas for a possible future video, please leave it in the comment section below and I will consider it. Thanks again, and happy inking!